Hey everyone. So this is going to be our last week of evolution before we get into ecology stuff. And the only thing that we really still have to cover is cladograms a bit more. So the next few days we're going to be working on this website, building cladograms and working through this to understand them a bit better. So besides the link to the video you're currently watching, on our Google Classroom post for today, you should see two things. You should see a link to this website, Nova Lab, and you should see a Google form that goes with it. So we're going to be working with this website for the next couple of days. There's going to be 3 missions, so a mission a day. When you click on this link to the lab, the very first thing that you need to do is you need to log in and make sure you sign in with Google. Okay, we want to use our school accounts. The reason for this is because if you don't use your school account, it will not be linked. So when you come back tomorrow, all of the work that you did won't be there and you'll have to start over. We don't want that, right? So make sure you log in with your school account. So the lab that we're doing is this evolution lab. There should be a picture of a polar bear there. So when you play a game, so we're going to do, it'll lead you to all of the different types of missions. And note when you go over here, you should see your name, right? If you don't see your name, you did not log in successfully. So make sure your name is there. Like I said, there's going to be 3 missions. We're going to do a mission a day. Now, I already went through this, so it says replay for my screen, but yours should just say play, okay? And before you start, if you wanted to watch this video, it's kind of introductory to what this is all about. It's very helpful. So if I hit play here, there's going to be 3 different steps to this mission, okay? And again, another introductory video if you want to watch that. So 3 steps here. Notice that on this Google form, look, there's 3 questions that go along with it. So at the end of each of these, there's going to pop up a question that's going to go along with this Google form. So I would highly suggest you have both of these tabs open on your screen so you know what questions there are and what to look at, because you don't want to go on to this next part before you answer this question. So let's start from the first one. So it is a game, in a sense. You are trying to build a cladogram in the correct way. So it says drag these 2 species there. And now I'm going to add traits to this cladogram tree to make it true. Whatever trait is at the bottom of these branches has to be true for these organisms. So if I drag this trait over, if I put it here, that would represent that it's just going to the gecko, right? But if I put it down here, that's going to go to both of them. All right, good job. You built it successfully. Now it's going to get increasingly more difficult as you go on. I've added a type of fungi to the mix, okay? So this magnifying glass is actually going to tell you different traits about them. So note I have to add this other organism to this cladogram as well as add these 2 other traits, okay? So if I click on this magnifying glass, I have to add photosynthetic autotroph and heterotroph to the mix. So let's figure out which of these species have what trait. So I have all 3 of my species up here. I have the gecko, and the traits are actually listed up here in green. It has a little bit more of a description about that specific organism. So I see that this gecko has cells with nuclei. It's heterotrophic, okay? Let's look at the fungi. I see that this fungi has cells with nuclei and it's heterotrophic. Okay, let's look at this palm tree. I see that this palm tree has cells with nuclei and it's a photosynthetic autotroph. Okay, so all 3 of these have cells with nuclei. So I have to make sure that the cells with nuclei trait goes with all 3. But there are 2 that were heterotrophic. And if you remember, those 2 that were heterotrophic were this gecko and this mushroom or type of fungi. So I'm actually going to put the fungi next to the gecko, okay? And note, it still makes sense. All three of them have cells with nuclei, so note this went to all three of them. And you can drag these around and change it up as you go along. But like we said, I already kind of know that this mushroom and the gecko are similar because they're both heterotrophic. And if I put that there, note that that green dot, it does indeed go to both of them. And it says that, okay, all of these two organisms right here have all of their traits. And note, if I put heterotrophic next to the palm tree, for example, it's not going to work. See, it literally bounces back. And let's say I made the mistake of putting the mushroom next to the palm tree, right? Oh, I can notice that, oh, this fungi is heterotrophic, but not the palm tree. So again, you can drag this around and use the traits to kind of help you out. The palm tree, however, is photosynthetic autotroph. So if I put the traits just like that, it should all work out. And I got it. Now notice, this question is right here on my Google Doc. So now that you've completed the first puzzle, answer the question, is an animal or a plant more closely related to a fungus? So the fungus is right here. If I look at this cladogram, I can see that this animal is actually more related to it than the plant. So I'm going to pick animal. Oh, look, it tells me the correct answer on this website. So on my Google form, you guys don't really have an option of getting them wrong because it'll tell you what's right or wrong here. This Google form is just so I know that you've went through it. So I'm going to pick animal for this one. I'm going to go on to the next, go on to the next one. And again, it's going to get a little bit more tricky, but I suggest that you look through these traits, figure out which ones are most similar, and start building your cladogram from there. Okay? You're going to go through this section, another question's going to pop up, and that should be this question right here. Once you're done with all three of these parts, you're going to submit this Google form. That way I know you completed mission 1, and that should be it. So tomorrow, when you are here, it'll be a different mission. Again, it's going to be a little bit more tricky, but as long as you log in with your Google account, your progress should be saved, and you should be good to go. I know this is difficult. I wish I was there with you guys to help explain it, but email me with questions. Try to be specific with your questions, such as which mission you're on or how to manipulate this certain thing. So I'm here to help, just an email away. Good luck.